Hi folks, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by the Hungry Pauper YouTube channel. My name is Paul Weiss and I'm here to show you some economical and good ways to eat. So thanks for joining me and let's get right into it. So a little bit about me. I was raised by some very practical, very cautious people with their money. They were farmers from the 50s and 60s, and we lived very inexpensively. Mom cooked almost every meal that ever went in our mouths. Now, there were times that we did eat in a restaurant, but for the most part, we ate because Mom cooked from scratch. So when I was young, I did a lot of listening to old timers. The folks, I mean, my grandparents and friends of the folks were farmers, and they knew how to make a nickel stretch. So a lot of these people were from Depression era and before. Like my grandfather on my mother's side, my maternal grandfather, was born in 1902. And I knew many other individuals that were born in 1900, 1910, 1920. And back then, these were hard times. And they had to be very smart with their money, and they had to have a lot of ingenuity to make things work. So I heard a story. It was some guys that I worked with. Now, these were elderly people too at that point in the 1980s. When they were children, they brought lard sandwiches to school in a sugar sack that was used over and over again. So when they ate their lard sandwich, which, by the way, I thought that sounded absolutely disgusting, but and the thought of eating a lard sandwich now, I'm sorry. I mean, if it came down to that, I suppose you could subsist on that, but so when they got done eating their large sandwich, they would fold the sugar sack back up, meticulously folded on the folds. You know, it's kind of like folding a road map, but folding a sugar sack or a flour sack. If you don't follow the lines, you're going to have a wad of paper. Anyway, so they'd fold this sack up, take it back home, and if they lost the sack on the way home, Mom was mad. So anyway, there's actually story after story after story I could tell about old times, hard times. But, you know, I think that today we're in hard times. It's just a little bit different. Now, I ate at a fast food restaurant the other night for a hamburger, fries, and a drink. It was $12.07. When I graduated high school, that was it was like $2 or $3. I can't remember which. I know a Big Mac meal then, it was $2 or $3. It was almost nothing compared to what you pay now. So I had a breakfast sandwich at one of these places the other morning. It was $5 just for the sandwich. Anyway, so the point I'm getting to is we have people that are working very hard to earn their money and very hard to make their money stretch. So that's what I'm doing here before you right now, is trying to help you. Now this morning we are going to deal with a few very simple recipes just to get me broke in, so to speak, of making a video. So we're going to make homemade syrup this morning. Now, folks, I never saw, besides a bottle of Karo syrup, corn syrup, I never saw a bottle of pancake syrup before I left home and got on my own. We always had homemade syrup. And Mom simply made a simple syrup from 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, and maple flavoring, which I have some examples of it here that I bought last night. And I don't eat a lot of syrup myself. I don't eat a lot of French toast, pancakes, waffles. I don't eat a lot of that stuff, but it's, you know, you can make this simple syrup for pennies compared to what you would pay for a bottle of, I'm not going to say a brand, you all know what they are. So let's get started on the syrup. And I have right here, I have a half a cup of water. Let's put that in there, get that going. And that pan needed something in it, I'll tell you that. Because I've been heating it up for a minute. Anyway, so there's there's a quarter cup of water, a half a cup of sugar. And we'll let that get going just a little bit before I put that in there, and I'll continue to talk. So also I want to make French toast for you. That amounts to, and I'm only making it for one, so I'm just using 1 egg, a half a cup of milk, which you can use whatever you have. Whole milk, 2%, skim, you can use heavy cream, you can use half and half. Whatever you have in the fridge is okay. Just use what you got. That's what this is all about these days. Try to use what you got and make use of everything you have instead of throwing something away or going bad, throwing it away, whatever. Just try to use everything that you have. So also, 1 second here, we need a spoon. And one other thing here, let's try this guy right here. That might be a little quieter. And also we have a half a cup of syrup. It's already starting to boil. We're going to put that half a cup of syrup in there and let's give that a little stir. And when the sugar dissolves and turns clear, the syrup is ready, and then you can put your flavoring in there. Now you could put any flavor you want in there, but we always had maple flavoring. Put that back there. So as soon as that simmers just a little bit and I can see to the bottom of that pan, we'll put some flavoring in there, and I'm going to get my measuring spoon ready here. Let's see. Let's start with a quarter teaspoon. Still got some sugar in the bottom of here. I don't know if you can see to the bottom of this pan or not. I'm not quite set up. The camera we're on today was intended to be the stove cam. And full disclosure, I have a nicer camera, and I was having some trouble running that camera. Where this one here is, you push the button and you start talking. So I thought for my very first one, we would push the button and start talking instead of me trying to figure out the camera. Anyway, so the sugar is almost dissolved. And let me get this out of the way. And there is a brand, I don't know if I should talk about brands, but growing up there was always a blue bottle and it said Maple Lean on it. Well, I checked a couple stores here in my town. I couldn't find any Maple Lean. And you should smell this maple flavor. This is Goodman's, whatever. Oops. We ran over just a smidge here. I think we need a little more than that because she seems a little watered down. I should do it the way I used to always do it and just pour some in there and call it a day. There we go. That was more like a teaspoon altogether. There we go. Put the lid on this before I drop it and spill it all over everywhere. We won't go diving for that cap just yet. I knew there would be some issues. So that is pretty much, you can see to the bottom of the pan, and the syrup looks kind of light yet. That's not the maple flavoring that I'm used to, where it takes just a little bit. this seems to take quite a bit, and there's only, well, we won't talk bad about that. So there's that, and let me get rid of that spoon, and I've got a canning jar, I've got a wide mouth ball jar there, and we're going to, you can put this in anything you want, but it was always at home, it was always served with a dipper, with a ladle like this, and this was sitting on a pot holder on the table, and you dipped up what you wanted, and the syrup was always hot, always fresh, and the family knew nothing else. That's all we knew. So it was always like that. And I know that this is a ball jar. It's okay to want to pour it in here because that way you can see it. And we'll just, and it's always hot and it's kind of thin, but Mom would make a lot more because there was 4 of us kids and her and Dad. So she would make a lot more of this syrup than what I just made here. So that is from a 1/2 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of water. One second here. If I don't run water in this pot, it's going to be a mess when I go to clean it up. So anyway, there's your homemade syrup. One other thing that I forgot. Thank you for stopping by the Hungry Pauper. I hope I've been a help to you in this quest to live inexpensively and eat well. Let me tell you, eat well. And be sure to like and subscribe if you would, please. And I'm going to do my best to get a video out every single week. And right now that's the goal, and we will get there. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. A little bit, because I know that I'm going to have this French toast for breakfast when we're all done with the video. So I made just a little bit of syrup, and so what I have here is 2 pieces of white bread and an egg, 1/2 cup of milk, and there is a tablespoon of sugar. And 1 second, I forgot the cinnamon. Let's grab that. Where did it go? Cinnamon, there it is. Cinnamon, sorry for that. And let's, this is a new container. Lordy, let's try it here one more time. Open this up, there we go. So, okay, so let's crack our egg in there. There's 1 egg, I believe that's a large egg. And I think the prices of eggs have kind of come down a little bit. I think that dozen of eggs is only like $2. So there's still, overall, you know, you're paying more for eggs than we ever used to, but it's still cheap eating. Breakfast is still pretty cheap at home, depending on what you have. Now, I will say also, personally, I enjoy a breakfast sandwich. You could, and I've had these at various places around town, and it's not going to take that whole 1/2 cup of milk for what I'm going to do. Let's put our sugar in there. You need a little bit of sugar and a little vanilla. Spaced it all out here now. I don't do a lot of baking, so I bought a real small bottle of vanilla. And we're just gonna put a little bit in there. I'm not gonna worry about measuring it, but we'll just do it like that. Stir that up a little bit. Let's see, so we got eggs, sugar, milk, vanilla, nothing left on my tray. I'm gonna call that good. And I'm gonna pour this in this dish right here so it's a little easier to dip the bread in it. Put that over here. There again, we'll run just a smidge, as my mother used to say, of water in there. And here's our bread. Also, one other thing. I had some butter. Where did it go? There it is. Didn't make it to the counter, and let's put a little butter on. I've got the griddle heating up here. Let's put some butter on the griddle. That's what she should sound like. Get that around here. Park him there. I got the bread thawed out. That's another thing. I keep my bread in the freezer because otherwise I waste a lot of bread because I don't eat a lot of bread. It's one of the things that has helped me regain some health and some weight loss. So we're going to have enough for a little bit more. We're going to get one more piece of bread and go from there. Now, here, let's just do this. This is what you can do also. Pour the extra mixture right on there and call it a day. So, 1 second here. Okay, so we took care of some business there, and I went the other night and I found me a metal flipper. So many of them are plastic, and with this cast iron, I feel like you kind of need metal. I know some people say you don't use metal, but I'm not going to go at this with a wooden stick like you see some of them do. Anyway, they're all good guys. So let's see how this goes. I better grab me a plate to put that on. 1 second here. 1 second here. Now these dishes that you see me use here, these are depression era dishes. They are Fire King dishes, and a lot of them, they came as premiums in your laundry soap and stuff like that. So, and I bought this set about 10, 12, 14 years ago at a secondhand store, and I paid too much. Well, you can't see it, but it came with about 12 or 18 coffee cups. As you know, it was just an eclectic group of stuff that somebody was selling. And let's take a look here. We got that fire down so it's not quite gonna cook so fast, because I wanted to make sure that the inside got done well. So you could also, what I was going with this is, you could make a sandwich out of the French toast. There is a place that I stop regularly. I travel extensively for my regular job, and there's a place where they sell French toast breakfast sandwiches. You can get bacon, egg and cheese, you can get sausage, egg and cheese, and myself, I absolutely love them. Now they are not, I don't know how much sugar is in those, because they are pretty plain, because you probably want your sandwich bread to not be so much sweet. Maybe you do, it's up to you. But this French toast here, we're just going to do this plain. I'm not going to make a sandwich out of that this morning here. I think we need just a smidge more heat. Turn it up just a little. Now this cast iron griddle, I had not used it a whole lot, but I needed a griddle. I felt like you needed to be able to see into the pan and see what's going on, because I'm not set right to have a dedicated stove cam. So anyway, I put a season on this griddle last night. I washed it good, dried it well, and the old timers, when they got cast iron, to season cast iron, well, what would they have used? I'm telling you, they probably used lard. So that's what I used, was lard. I washed and dried it well, and I smeared this really well with lard, and I put it in the oven at about 400, and I went and ran some errands. And I came back, and you can see how well this French toast comes right off this griddle. So it's working pretty well. So that word to the wise, that's how you season your cast iron. That is how you season it, is you just use it. You start with you bake it for like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours with a coating of lard in there, and come back, let it cool, and wash and dry it well again. And that's all I've done here. And today, this is working very well. And I will tell you, this metal turner is working. Better get her flipped here. Should have turned that one around. We'll try that on this one here. There we go. And I'm going to need to be getting this wrapped up here pretty quick. But I want to talk to you about coffee too before we move off totally on the off the French toast here. It needs just a few more minutes. Let me start talking a little bit about coffee while this cooks. So I'm not mad at you if you stop at the little hut on the way to work and get your coffee. I'm not mad at you if you stop at the convenience store and get your coffee on the way to work. But I will tell you, now this pot back here, it's just me in the morning. I make 6 cups of coffee. I don't make a whole pot. I make 6 cups of coffee, and I make sure, and I will tell you also, the water in my town here is terrible. It tastes absolutely horrible. So I buy water. Any water that goes in my mouth, I bring it in these jugs. And there is a cost, but it's better. So I make 6 cups of coffee. I make sure to fill the water to the exact same spot every single time for the consistency. That one's not quite ready. Whoopsie. That stuff happens in real life, you know. Anyway, so he's a little dark, but that's all right. I don't know why I had to cook that. There we go. Okay, so the way I achieve consistency with my coffee. Now, first of all, you need something to keep your coffee in that keeps it fresh. Now, I bought this at the Mart over there on the other side of town, where it seems like almost everybody shops, or a lot of people shop anyway. And that almost smells as good as when you first opened the bag of coffee. Now, I don't know about you, but when you first open a bag of coffee, the aroma that comes out of that bag of coffee is out of this world. Now, that is very similar to what I'm smelling right now. So I keep my coffee in this jar with a lid. I keep it on there fairly tight. But the secret to good coffee at home that it tastes the same every single time is fill your water. First of all, have your carafe clean and your basket clean, and take your used coffee filter with the coffee in it out of there right away when the coffee's done. And keep your carafe clean. I don't wash it every time. I don't wash either one very time, but I want to say every week or so, every 2 weeks, I run them through the dishwasher or wash them by hand if that's the case, whatever. And this here scoop. Now it's an 1/8 of a cup scoop, and it's considered a coffee scoop. Now they come in different shapes, but this one seems to work just fine. So what I do is I have it the same every single time. So I know exactly how much coffee I want in there. I have it just slightly mounted like that, and I do it the same exact way every time. This way, you will know. There we go. Looky there. I think we're in business here. So let's we'll leave him cook so that other edge gets just a little bit better. Oh, it's fine. put it on there. It's all turned off. We're good to go there. So we'll do that, and I need a sharper knife. Anyway, a little butter on there. Now butter. Now I don't recommend the Crisco sticks or the hydrogenated product, whatever. Better not say too much. I don't want sued. Anyway, so and that's a heap, plenty of butter on there. Get this little syrup on there. There we go. It's looking good. So let's bury that back in there so it stays in there and stays clean. And let's get us